we've been talking a lot on the show about Israel versus Hamas and some of the anti-Semitism that's been going on, and some of the anti-Muslim, Islamophobic stuff that's been going on. And I wanted to today talk about some of the protests that are going on in support of a free Palestine. And again, I've stated on this show several times that I support a free and independent Palestine. Just as I support a free and independent Israel, I support a two-state solution. I don't think a single-state solution is workable. I just don't see how it is all feasible. I'm open to arguments to the contrary, but I don't see how it is currently a feasible thing to do. But, and I'm fine. Protests shouldn't make people necessarily comfortable. Like, if you're going to camp out in front of a McDonald's, or if you're going to camp out in front of other, businesses that might do business in Israel or whatever, and just say, hey, we want a free Palestine, that's fine. I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is targeting of specific restaurants, especially if those restaurants are owned by Jews, Israeli Jews or otherwise. Because there is one restaurant, I think it was in Pennsylvania. I think it was called Goldie or whatever. And they were outside, and they were saying, I think Goldie, you can't hide, we charge you with genocide, or something like that. Not saying like Israel, you can't hide, we charge you with genocide. Saying specifically the owner of the restaurant, they're charging the owner of the restaurant with genocide. The owner of the restaurant has nothing to do with the policies of Israel. He's a James Beard award-winning chef. Yes, he happens to be Jewish, and he happens to be Israeli. And when I think it was Ali Velshi on MSNBC went over to try and report on the issues, I think Ali Velshi got a message from this restaurateur who said, "What can I do to help? What can I do to help you?" Because this individual is not opposed to peace. This individual is somebody who is supportive of peace and wants peace. But these pro-Palestinian protesters jumped the shark and went out and started shouting about, how they're charging this restaurateur with genocide. And it's ridiculous.
Little sign of the scene Sunday night, where police say 400 to 500 protesters gathered.
We charge you with genocide!
They accuse the restaurant, co-owned by Israeli chef Michael Solomonoff, of supporting genocide in Gaza. Today, the White House called the protest anti-Semitic. Pennsylvania's governor said it echoed 1930s Germany.
The purposeful gathering of a mob outside of a restaurant simply because it is owned by a Jewish person, well, that's anti-Semitism, plain and simple.
Solomonoff has multiple restaurants in the area specializing in Israeli food. He was born in Israel but grew up in Pittsburgh. So far, the award-winning chef hasn't commented publicly. A pro-Palestinian group that appears to have organized last night's protest called for a boycott of Golidies and other Jewish-owned restaurants after the Israel-Hamas war began. The group did not respond to NBC News' request for comment.
Again, I had to write, it was Goldie, you can't hide, we charge you with genocide, even though, what was he doing? What was he doing? He's just a restaurateur. He was raised in America, raised in Pittsburgh. But yet, these people felt like it was perfectly okay to just go out there and boycott and protest against Jewish Israeli restaurateurs because of what's going on in Israel. Now, one of the things that was shown in that picture was something like, saying that he was maybe culturally appropriating Palestinian food by serving hummus and tahini, whatever. And, we can have the conversation as to whether or not Israeli food is culturally appropriating Palestinian food. Maybe we could have that conversation, but let's not bring that conversation into the conversation about whether or not this person is committing genocide simply by owning an American restaurant. That's anti-Semitism. No matter how you spell it, no matter how you say it, no matter how you see it, these people were attacking this person with words, with a protest, with a targeted boycott, simply because he's Jewish. And that is anti-Semitism without any doubts. And agree or disagree, you're free to comment below, but you're going to have a hard time convincing me otherwise, because I can't see any other way of it being anything other than anti-Semitic.